Here we consider the takeaway model of subtraction for integers. I have another video that I've done for whole numbers, a more introductory video, and I will link that in the description. Quick review of that. If I want to do 6 minus 4, I will create a set of 6. We represent the first number in the subtraction problem with a set representing that number. So I have the 6, and then minus is takeaway. So I'll be subtracting 4 from this set. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what remains is the result. So 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. In order to work with integers, you will want to have chips or markers of some sort that have one color on one side and one color on the other. And then you decide which one of those is going to represent a positive number, a positive unit, and which one is going to represent a negative unit. So we'll have red representing a negative unit and white representing a positive unit. So for our next example, we approach it in the same way, but when we represent the minuend, or the first number in the subtraction problem, we create a set of 5 negatives, or negative 5. Well, what we then need to take away is negative 2. I need to take away 2 negatives. I need to take away negative 2. So here we go. 1, 2 negatives. Those are gone. So negative 5 minus negative 2 is equal to negative 3. And we have rules that govern this that we often tell our students, and they come across in textbooks, or we might have cute little tricks where we say minus negative is plus positive, and we slap a little bar in here, making those both look like positives. But this helps represent why it is that those rules and those tricks work. The takeaway model represents subtraction. I've got negative 5. I take away 2 negatives, and I'm left with 3 negatives, or negative 3. Now notice here I had 2 positive numbers and I was subtracting. And here I had 2 negative numbers and I was subtracting. But in our next 2 examples, we have a mixture of numbers. I have a positive number and a negative number. And I have a negative number and a positive number behind the minus sign. Here we're going to need an idea known as zero pairs. That was also introduced in an earlier video. I will also put a link to that in the description. But one thing that you're going to need to do in order to work with these examples is you're going to need to realize that if you have a positive one and a negative one together, those represent 0. That's known as a zero pair. A positive one and a negative one basically zero out. Okay, so let's take this on and see how this works. Again, we represent the first number in the subtraction problem as a set. And this is also sometimes called the set model of subtraction. It's the takeaway model or the set model. So there's the 3. We've represented the 3. But now I need to take away 2 negatives. Well, I don't see any negatives there. Nothing is red. In order to be able to do that, what I need to do is to get 2 negatives in there. Well, how am I going to do that without changing the value or without changing what the problem is? Well, what we're going to do is introduce enough zero pairs so that I'm going to be able to take out negative 2. This, what I have right now, still represents 3 because it's 3 plus 0. I'm going to put in another zero pair. This is still the number 3 because it's 1, 2, 3 plus 0 plus 0. You can always add 0 to something and you don't change its value. But now I have negatives in here, and so I can take away 2 negatives, or negative 2. When I count what's left, I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 minus negative 2 is equal to positive 5. Moving on to the next problem, we're going to represent the minuend, the first number in the subtraction problem, with a set, and that is our set that represents -1. But now I need to take away 3 positives. I need to do -3, and that is a positive 3 with a subtraction sign in front of it. It's a positive 3. Well, in order to do so, I'm going to use the same idea of 0 pairs. This is a -1. What do you get if you add 0 to -1? You just still have itself. And I need to be able to subtract 3 positives, so I'm going to make 3 0 pairs. This is still -1 because it's -1 and 0 and 0. And I put in another 0 pair. So still, we just have that -1 represented because it's -1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. But now I can take away 3 positives. Here they go. So -1 minus 3 is equal to -4.